So this horse is an example of a horse that has been saddled before, but the first saddling went very wrong, and he had a crash. It ended up slipping. The owner told me it ended up slipping underneath him, and he just had a horrible experience. So because of that, this horse has some pretty significant fear of the saddle. She's been able to ride him bareback, but she can't saddle him without him freaking out, which he demonstrated there. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I helped him overcome some of this. So this gelding is really a great example for why the first couple saddlings is very important and very critical in their training and in their life, because he's got some pretty significant mental trauma because of his previous experience at another trainer. So he overcomes his fear of the pad relatively quickly, and then I just slowly start to reintroduce the saddle. I don't want to do it in a fast or threatening way. This is actually a lot slower than I normally would because he's got that fear already there. So I'm just doing a little bit of approach and retreat here with the saddle, letting him feel it, letting him hear it, see it, just letting him absorb it without forcing it upon him. I'm not just going to throw it up there and make him take it. I could do that, but I won't do that to him. So you can see his ears. He's really taking in all of this that I'm doing with him. This was his first or second day of doing this. I think actually the first day I just did the pad. I didn't do the saddle at all. And then he starts to loosen up here after a little bit and starts to flinch less. His head comes down a little more. His ears relax. He starts to improve. So then when he's okay with that, I go ahead and go to the other side and just do a little bit of motion and noise on the other side as well to make sure that he's okay with both sides. You can see the tension comes back. He's ready to dart forward at any moment. He's pretty tense. He's handling everything pretty well. Not ideal, not perfect, but I feel like he's doing well enough that I could go ahead and cinch it up. I didn't do it all the way up, just tight enough that it wasn't going to fall off or cause another accident. That is the last thing this horse needs. So I just cinch it up enough to keep it on and safe, making sure that he's okay with every step of this as well, and not just doing it up real quick and freaking him out. And then I want to make sure that he's not holding on to tension that would cause an explosion. So I ask him to move around a little bit. And I move the saddle around, make sure that he's okay. I'm paying close attention to him. You can see that he's a little bit tense in his back and his hind end, but he's not bucking. Then I move the stirrup around a little bit. I really just need to see where his trigger is, what he's doing in his mind, what he's thinking about, and making sure that I'm covering all the holes that he's got. So this horse was with me for 30 days, and every day we just did a lot of this because he was not okay with it. So, like here, I come back a few days after the first video clip, and I'm just reintroducing a different pad. And it gets him nervous again. So I just take my time and listen to him, and he tells me how he's feeling, he tells me what he needs, and that's what we're doing. That's why the first few saddlings and any experience your horse is having for the first time or the first several times, they need to be well prepared, thought out, and it can't be a bad experience because horses will hold on to it. They have amazing memories. So this horse, he came a long way in the time that I had him, but he didn't completely get over his fear. And his owner still had homework when she brought him home, but he's doing a lot better. So he is now accepting of the pad, a lot more relaxed in his body, and is nice and free through his feet. I can move him a little bit. His face is a lot more relaxed. So then I add in the saddle again, and he does do better throughout the days that he's here. He makes improvements. He does still have a little bit of concern and anxiety about it, but he understands that I'm working with him, and he's learning that it's not a bad experience. And again, this is a horse that can be ridden. He's fine to be ridden. His owner had actually ridden him around her place quite a bit, bareback, walk, trot, and canter everywhere. But he had this terrible fear of the saddle. So that was his main reason for being with me, to help him through this. Then I can start adding in extra things to help build that confidence and help him realize that he can overcome. He can think things through, and he doesn't need to be scared. He doesn't need to be worried about his safety because he can have a partnership with his person, and I will listen.